tried to get us out of there as quick as I could. The amount of rounds they fired was ridiculous, though. That well over 30, 40 rounds probably.
First at 5, a local Uber driver is sharing his story about a terrifying shooting that left him badly injured and his passenger dead. You may remember he was dropping off his rider in North Portland when gunfire suddenly erupted, and so far there have been no arrests. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. The Uber driver is home recovering after spending a week in the hospital. Our Mike Benner spent some time with him today. He joins us now. And Mike, how's he doing?
You know, Laurel, he is doing remarkably well considering what happened. His name is Josiah Kuehl. Driving for Uber is one of his 2 jobs to provide for his family, consisting of a wife and 3 kids. As you can imagine, this shooting has been a major setback, but Josiah will not let it define him.
It's the big things. I'm here.
Josiah Kuehl is alive and is beyond grateful for that, but he'll tell you he's got a long way to go before he feels like himself again.
The biggest, hardest hit is I can't help out as much as I used to. I can't even pick up my son very well. I can't change his diaper. I can't do it one-handed.
Josiah's life changed on the night of July 19th while he was driving for Uber. The 26-year-old tells us he was driving a man to the Kenton neighborhood. Josiah says nothing was unusual about it, at least at the time.
No one followed us or anything. What I should have caught on to, which didn't seem abnormal until it was all said and done. The person on the phone kept asking exactly what time they would show up.
Perhaps it was a clue to what happened next. Josiah says as he was dropping off his passenger on North McClellan Street near Denver Avenue, a car pulled up and somebody inside started shooting.
The first round I instantly heard, I knew it was gunfire going over. It's a unique sound you'll never forget. It hit my driver's window and broke it. And then I got down and they started opening fire on us. Surprisingly, my passenger was able to get back into the car and tell me to drive. Josiah
floored it, eventually stopping on North Terry Street near Interstate Avenue. That's when he noticed his passenger, later identified as 25-year-old Zamir Bentley, had been shot and killed. As for Josiah,
I took a grazed bullet to this forearm here, took a graze to the back of the hand, and took 3 rounds to the arm right here.
Josiah spent about a week in the hospital before medical staff discharged him. Since then, the husband and father of 3 has done his best to go about his life. He's even attended a concert, but by no means has it been easy.
I think I'm blessed, but I feel sorry for the passenger still. That's what I keep thinking about when I think back to that night, is I couldn't help him. I wish I could have done more.
That's why Josiah is hoping police can track down the gunman. Justice for the man who died, and Josiah, who's still grappling with the idea of going back to work for Uber.
I haven't decided. It's a tough decision. Do you want to provide for your family, or do you want to put your life at risk? It's a decision I have not made yet.
Whether Josiah goes back to work for Uber or not, this shooting and the aftermath has taken quite a financial toll on him and his family. They've actually launched a GoFundMe for some assistance. You can find a link to it on our website, KGW.com. David?
Absolutely incredible story there, Mike Benner. Thank you. An update now on a deadly stabbing in Old Town. Portland police say they've arrested a suspect. They've identified her as 31-year-old Judy Ann Edmond. She appeared in court today facing a second-degree murder charge. Police were called to Northwest 5th and Davis just after 9 on Tuesday morning. According to court documents, Edmond stabbed the victim in the neck and then twice more when the woman fell to the ground. A TriMet security camera captured that entire attack.
Now to Oregon's wildfire season. A fire burning in Wasco County has torched more than 10,000 acres as of this afternoon. It is south of Dufur and about 13 miles southwest of Maupin. The fire is 0% contained. Governor Brown has made an emergency declaration to get more resources to help. Blair Best joins us now from Highway 216 with an update, and it looks and sounds really windy there, Blair.
That's right, Laurel. This section of Highway 216, which is just a few miles north of Maupin, was closed yesterday due to the wildfire, but reopened earlier today. We can still see and smell tons of smoke in the area, and as you mentioned, the winds are very strong here. Firefighter crews have been putting out fires just feet from this highway all day today. Now, the fires started yesterday afternoon in Juniper Flat. So far, it's burned 10,500 acres. Today, crews are assessing the fire's footprint and structure damage. The heat, low humidity, and steady west winds is causing it to grow. About 125 firefighters are working around the clock to put it out. Level 2 and 3 evacuations are in place for parts of the county, but those who live nearby tell us they're shaken up.
Oh, billowing smoke. I mean, I thought for sure that everything had burnt down because it was massive.
Freaky, just really scary, terrifying experience.
Now, the cause of this fire is still under investigation, which we're told could take weeks. Now, crews are encouraging people, if you live in the area, to keep your eyes on those evacuation lists since they change as the fire progresses. Now, there are emergency shelters in place for people who may need them. There's one at the local high school here, but we were there earlier today and it was empty. David, Laurel.
Thank you, Blair. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri now, tracking wildfire conditions around the state. And as we can see, conditions not what firefighters want to see with those winds.
No, it's going to be challenging over the next couple of hours, really the next couple of days. They're not going to be getting much relief, but the winds are going to be a big factor out there tonight. The other thing it's going to be giving them a bit of an issue is just how dry things are. As we look at the map that shows the relative humidity throughout the metro area, we're looking at readings right around the low to mid 40s, but near the Dalles and throughout eastern Oregon, it drops by about half that, 22% near the Dalles, and you see over in central Oregon, relative humidity levels are down to about 13%. That's a big reason why that red flag warning is in place until 9 o'clock tonight at least. You can see it's going to be out throughout parts of the Dalles, along Highway 97, and throughout the central and eastern side of the state. The other concern in that part of the state isn't just how dry things are, it's the threat of thunderstorms that have been rolling through here this afternoon, again for the third day in a row. As we look at the winds currently throughout the Columbia River Gorge, the Dalles, you're looking at gusts up to about 30 miles per hour throughout central Oregon. It's coming in out of the west about 25 to 30 miles an hour. And over the next couple of hours, we'll continue to see the winds pick up a little bit. They'll kind of die down a little bit heading into tomorrow. But you'll notice this is the other concern I was telling you about. It's the threat of thunderstorms that could be sparking more wildfires over the next couple of hours and really the next couple of days. And things will start to cool off a little bit. I'll talk more about that in my detailed forecast.
All right, thanks, Joe. Let us turn to the Washington primary now and an update as the state continues to count votes. Let's start with the 3rd Congressional District. The total tally is up slightly this afternoon, with the results really mirroring what we saw late Tuesday. Again, these could update any moment, but right now, longtime incumbent Jamie Herrera Butler appears to have survived the primary. That is despite her vote to impeach former President Donald Trump. So she is in second place in this, again, top 2 primary with about 24% of the vote. Democratic challenger Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez still leading the race with about 31.5%. You see Trump-endorsed retired Green Beret Joe Kent still in third, about 20%. Now, if these results hold, that means he will not make the cutoff for the general election in November. And speaking of updates, we are expecting Clark County to report another batch of votes any moment now, with more likely coming on Thursday, Friday, and even next week, since ballots could be postmarked as late as yesterday. The county auditor says they counted about 70,000 ballots last night. Now, it's hard to say what proportion of total ballots that is, but earlier the auditor estimated something like 2/3 or so. A word of caution, the results, again, that we're showing you are not final. County officials say also as part of the process, they are carefully checking ballots to verify votes.
Primary security feature in a vote by mail election process is the verification of the signatures. So every one of those ballot envelopes that are returned to us, a human has to look at that signature on the ballot envelope and compare that to the voter's signature in the voter registration record. And that signature verification process it's time consuming, but it is a very important part of the process.
And Auditor Greg Kimsey adds there are a number of voters who have and will receive a form to notify them signatures do not match registration. If that happens to you, you'll have the opportunity to correct it so your vote can be counted.
Let's also take a look at some other races. In the 4th District in Washington, Republican Dan Newhouse is leading with a little over 27% of the vote. Like Herrera Butler, he also voted to impeach former President Donald Trump. Democrat Doug White is in second with about 26% support. And former police chief and gubernatorial candidate Lauren Culp, who was endorsed by former President Trump, is in third place. For U.S. Senate, longtime incumbent Patty Murray finished on top. The Associated Press projects she will face face Republican challenger Tiffany Smiley in November. And in the race for Secretary of State, Democrat Steve Hobbs has a significant lead. He was appointed to the job last fall. Julie Anderson, who's running nonpartisan, and Republican Bob Hagelin are neck and neck for that number 2 spot. And in Clark County, Prop 11 is on the ballot. It's a sales tax increase for public safety and includes buying body cameras for sheriff's deputies. Right now, it's passing.